we've been talking about driver diagrams and change ideas, and PDSA cycles are almost the essence of QI. So they're really small tests of change which you do to implement the small changes that you're trying to make. So has anyone here heard of a PDSA cycle? It seems to be the thing that people have heard of when it comes to QI. Okay. Has anyone ever done a PDSA cycle? Some kind of, a little bit,
yeah.
Okay.
You might have done it and just not realised it.
Yeah, but because the thing about them is there's a certain amount of them that is kind of intuition. It's what it feels right, and it is something that to some extent you might do already. But what we're trying to do in QI is have a systematic approach to that. So PDSA is just an acronym. So it stands for Plan, Do, Study, Act. So what we're looking to do is plan. What will we do? What will happen if we try and do something a bit different? And then actually doing it. And then looking at that, seeing what worked, what didn't, and then deciding what to do next. And that's when you hear people talk about adapt, adopt, or discard in terms of that change idea. So you're looking to do a PDSA for each specific change idea, and you're looking to start really, really small. And that might sound slightly counterintuitive and sound like you're just going to make change very, very slowly, but it really builds up momentum. Picture snowballs, a snowball effect, and it'll be worth it in the long run. So just to go into a bit more detail, this will catch up. So the planning stage is almost the most important stage, and what you're trying to do here is make predictions about what will happen. So if you've decided that one nurse and one patient is going to use a new leaflet, you need to predict exactly what you think will happen as a result of that. And it's about current knowledge about how a process or system will behave in the future. So there's a direct link to your plan, because you'll then study what actually happened afterwards. You've then got your do, so that's where you do it, and this is where all the learning happens. And failure is just as good as success in that you're going to learn from either of them. So in PDSAs, it's really important to think of failure as also an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to improve. So carry out the plan, document problems and observations, and begin your data analysis in this. So that's when you start to collect your data. And then you have the study. So this is when you reflect back on what has happened. So when predictions are compared with actual outcomes, they can reveal gaps in our current understanding of why a process or system behaves the way it does. So you're looking at what you did and what actually happened, and then you decide what you do next. So if it worked, if it was a great success, then you adopt it and you carry on, you go bigger. If it kind of worked, but it also kind of didn't, you adapt it, you tweak it, and you try again. And if it didn't work, then you discard it. There's no point in carrying on something that wasn't effective or was harder than you thought it was going to be or took more resource than you thought it would be. So think of it in those slightly broader ways. So a few PDSA basics. Think ahead, do lots of planning, start really, really small. And by starting small, we're saying one nurse, one patient, one junior doctor, one discharge summary, whatever it is. Start really, really small. And if you're starting small, then your failures will be small. But you can learn a lot from that one patient or that one junior doctor doing that one thing, and build momentum on that. And then just get started. So the idea behind it being is if you're starting small and you're just doing whatever you're doing to one patient, to one situation, then there should be an element of you being able to do it quickly. So you're not doing a whole system overhaul. You're not getting the whole ward to do something new every day. Just on next Monday, we're just going to start and we're going to implement this new system. You are thinking of really, really small. Is that starting to make sense? So this is Gabri's example BDSA. So this is for a news workshop for deteriorating patients. Is that right? Thank you. So if your change idea is to start training nursing staff, using the news score. So the first thing you'd do is plan, and you'd plan that as much as you can. Who's going to do what? How are you going to measure it? Where's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Who's going to lead it? Who's going to attend? How are you going to get people to attend? So lots and lots of detail. Then you'd do the workshop, and then you'd look at it and you'd say, okay, 95% of nursing staff attended the workshop. Pretty good, sounds quite good. And then you'd make a decision. So in this case, the accuracy of news recording per month improved by 35%. So sounds pretty good, but that judgment would be on you. So it's lots of nurses attend, which is great, and if you're happy with that as an improvement, then you would adapt it and carrying on. And whether that's training new nursing staff, doing the workshop again if that's required, or it might be that this is something that you decide to systematically do every year, every new intake, whatever it is, and then you start doing your next change idea as your next PDSA cycle. So hopefully this will make it a little bit clearer. So this is the snowball that I was talking about, although now that's not a very good analogy because it's going uphill. But so here you have hunches, theories, and ideas. So this is where you've got your change idea, and then you're developing that change. So you start one nurse, one patient. It goes quite well. You tweak it a bit. Then maybe one nurse, 10 patients. One nurse, a clinic. And then maybe another nurse or another ward, some more patients. And you're building up and building up what feels right, depending. It will depend very much on the change idea, how quickly you build it up. And you're learning as you go along, and you're tweaking as you go along. So you're testing that change under lots of different conditions, whether that's other nurses, other patients, other wards, whatever it is. And then you're implementing a change and making that part of routine operations. So the ultimate aim is that it becomes sustainable, it becomes very much ingrained in what you're doing. So it's not a massive overhaul, it's a gradual change. But if it is a gradual change, and if you do test small and start small and build it up, and really integrate it into your very unique systems, then it's much more likely to stick, and it's much more likely to stay around, and it's hopefully more likely to be successful. So, why PDSA? So I've mentioned a few things, but why do you think PDSA? Can anyone think of any other reason why this might be a better approach than just telling everyone that they're going to change everything that they do for this certain system on Monday? As I've been saying, it's an opportunity to learn about your change idea. So each PDSA cycle is an opportunity to learn, whether it's successes and it's going really well, or if it's a failure. And if it's really not working and it's actively causing you trouble and causing you angst, then discard it. Don't carry on. Don't do something unnecessarily. It should help you understand the impact of what you're doing. So if you're starting small, you can very quickly see the impact on that one person, that one situation. It really does reduce anxiety. Some people think that it's a slow approach and they're really eager to get going, but it really is worth taking this slowly, catchy monkey approach to it. It really does reduce anxiety, especially when you're trying to get someone to agree to do something differently. People don't like to change their behavior. People like doing it how they already do it. It gives you opportunities to adapt and retest. And it really does create a sense of ownership, which we've covered. The failures are small, so damage is limited, which will help your managers get on board what you're doing. And it will really help you identify successful change. So if you're only testing one thing at a time, you can know that any changes that are seen as a result of that in what you're measuring are as a result of that change. Whereas if you test lots of things at the same time, you might see an improvement, but you don't know which of those things that you've changed are the reason for that result or that improvement you've seen, or equally the negative improvement that's happening. Anything else?
So just one thing that's not here, I think, and a topic that a lot of you have mentioned today is the importance of shared learning as well. So not even just within your own service, but across different trusts as well. And this can be a really good tool if you document, like Lex is saying, and be really specific about how you went about the change, what tweaks you made, what didn't work, what did work. Then if it is a sustainable change that's worked at your practice, you can share that as well. It might need to be adapted elsewhere to fit in with that particular context, but it's something that can speed up that process of improvement elsewhere too. And I'm sure once you make a change that leads to a big improvement, trusts will be curious and they'll come speak to you and say, how did you do that? I want to do that.
So just to review what we've been through today, simply looking at the data is absolutely important. If we don't have data, we don't know what we're doing, so we need to start looking at the data. We may need additional data from outside of the NICOR audit to understand exactly what's going on, but we need to start with the data. Process mapping the pathway, we hope we've given you some tools and some ideas to try and then take that forward. Develop a smart aim, use a driver diagram to try and understand what you need to do to make the changes happen. Use the PDSA cycle to test things out, and small tests are change. Small tests, don't try and do the grand thing. Do something small that's within your own power to make a change, and then modify that as you go on and just build on your success over time. So have a structured approach, I think, is the key message there. And the bottom line is, I think we can all make a difference. It's something we really need to do is find the people in our organisation we can work with who feel the same as us. Don't be bogged down by the people who are the naysayers. Let's find some enthusiasts. We need to work in teams. We can make a case for change. It's there. Get the patients involved in that, particularly I think is really important. Don't worry if things don't work out perfectly first time. Keep trying. And when you do get something right, let's tell people about it, because if you look at the audit, there's some absolutely fabulous stuff going on around the country. So let's share that out and make people clear that we are really trying hard here to make a difference to patients, and we're achieving that. And finally, it is remember why you've come today, why you're going to go out there and keep those pledges is because we're doing this for the sake of all of our patients. So just go away and do something amazing. That's what I would say, because you can do. Thank you all very much, and a safe journey home.